Hi all. You are on the Software Developer blog channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Today we will discuss an interesting topic. Top 5 programming languages that are likely to cease their active existence within 5 or 10 years, and they are definitely not worth learning. The first programming language is Objective-C. Objective-C is immediately associated with Apple because all software was written on it for their operating system. However, Objective-C has been used for macOS, iOS, and OS X development for over 2 decades from 1996 to the present. Now, very few programmers master this language. This is due to the advent of Swift in 2014 to become the new programming standard for macOS, iOS, and several other Apple-related platforms. While Objective-C is largely based on the complex C language, Swift effectively removes these complexities while adding useful new features such as automatic memory management, closure support, and optional security integration. Swift has achieved a high level of stability and user acceptance. That being said, Apple is still in the process of rewriting the Objective-C libraries to make the transition easier for old language proponents. Although there are still discussions about which of the two options is better, current trends indicate that Objective-C is still ready to retire, and Swift is quietly replacing it. The second programming language was a very hype language that was predicted to be simply incredible success. This is Ruby. Ruby instantly became very popular right after its release in 1999. Programmers were impressed with how quickly it allowed them to create applications. In 2004, the Ruby on Rails framework was released, bringing Ruby to the top of the list of programming languages for developers. Since then, Ruby and Ruby on Rails have become almost synonymous. The framework is gaining even more popularity every day. However, Ruby has been in a particular decline for the last 10 years, and now Ruby is already on the list of languages that will soon disappear. One reason for its decline in popularity is speed. Ruby applications tend to be slower than many other popular languages such as JavaScript, Go, and Python. These programming languages have evolved to meet the demands of today's times, while Ruby is largely a thing of the past. For example, the MVC architecture that made Ruby on Rails the top of its time is now considered old-fashioned, and generally not as convenient and fast. The third language on this list is Visual Basic. It was released by Microsoft as the main tool for building Windows in 1991, and it really did the job. But over the years, something has gone wrong. There were problems with Visual Basic development, and with the release of C# in 2000, these problems began to increase. Many programmers ditched Visual Basic in favor of C# because C# was more concise, offered much more functionality, and was better suited to cloud and rapid development, which are key in the current market. The fourth programming language is Haskell. Haskell is another one of the oldest languages that was created decades ago and has continued to be used for a long time. Haskell is mostly used only by researchers and scientists to create programs that do complex permutations and extrapolations for their work. But usually it is considered very difficult to learn, and the number of active users is limited. Also, the last stable update of Haskell was released in 2010. The fifth programming language on this list is Perl. Perl was introduced in 1987. It has been hailed as a language that just about everyone, whether new to programming or a professional, can easily handle and can be used for a variety of purposes. However, in 1991, Python appeared, which disrupted Perl's plans. Python began to supplant Perl in the 2000s and has taken its place as the best language for beginners. The decline in Perl usage has continued unabated for the past 15 years, and we don't see anything stopping it anytime soon. Let's summarize. Although all the programming languages in this video are on a downward trajectory, their disappearance is not 100% guaranteed. If enough efforts are made by their creators and the community to update them, add new features and useful features, they may return. But it's much more likely that programmers will continue to look for and use newer and better tools. When considering which language to start learning programming with, there are many factors to consider. And that's all I have. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you soon.